all I can say is happy Monday, everybody. Colts win. I had to do the Harry Carey impression, as bad as it even is. The Colts beat the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday in a slog of a game. What did I tell you last week? I said I remembered a game there once that was won by like 5 field goals by Adam Vinatieri, and that's nearly identical to what the Colts did. It was an absolute slugfest to watch. It was the heart attack game, to tell you the truth. The last hour, and if you were watching my live stream, I'm sorry I turned it off. I had things going on here, and then I just got frustrated, and I turned it off, and that was my first time doing a live stream. So to the people, we had like 5 people watching at one time. The people watching the live stream, thank you so much. This is a new channel. My name is Aaron. Welcome to Indiana Sports Connection, a fan's perspective of all things sports in the state of Indiana. And you're getting it from a perspective that's just like yours. I am not the media. But first, a word from our sponsor, Mattress Warehouse. Get a name brand mattress at a warehouse price at Mattress Warehouse in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We deliver to anywhere within about 75 miles of our location. If you are located close to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and also many of our mattresses can be sent nationwide in boxes now. So something to keep in mind. But if you want to get that sleep that you so dearly desire, that good night's rest that will heal you as you sleep, come into Mattress Warehouse. No high pressure salespeople here. I will guide you through 75 different mattresses. Normally with a few simple questions, we can narrow it down to 3 or 4 different mattresses and get you on something. And you can sleep on it tonight at Mattress Warehouse, your local mattress company in Fort Wayne, Indiana, the only local mattress store in Fort Wayne. Come and see us today, 4830 Lima Road, 1808 North Coliseum, or on Illinois Road. 3 locations in Fort Wayne to make it convenient for your shopping needs. Come and see me or any of our other great salespeople today. Choose Mattress Warehouse when choosing a mattress in Indiana. So the Indianapolis Colts had, and I'm going to just talk off of the top of my head, go through the game, what I remember what happened, because at the beginning of the game, Lamar Jackson comes out, drives right down the field, and scores. And I just immediately was thinking, this is going to be a long, long day for the Colts. You can never tell exactly how a game's going to go exactly by the first drive. And then as that game went on and on and on through the first and second quarters, and Juju Brent, really nice on that punch out. I mean, got up on Jackson, punched the ball out, and then recovered it. That was his, I might be wrong here, that was his first time being activated on the team. Juju Brent's out of Kansas State. Really, you made your money and made some other nice plays in the game, but definitely made his money. The other thing I like about Shane Steichen is he holds people accountable. If you're not going to produce on the field, he will bench you. Deion Jackson was on the Colts, played like crap in the first game, just didn't do well. Also, some of the corners there, guys, like if you are not performing on the field, Shane Steichen is going to pull the plug really quick. And I like to see. That's something I've always disliked about, well, Frank Reich just let people get away with murder. But if you want to be like the Bill Belichick, you got to stand by that. If people aren't performing, if you fumble one time under Bill Belichick, you are like right out the door immediately. You will never be seen again. There's nothing wrong with that. So I like Shane Steichen, but Juju Brent, he held him out of some of the first games, got his opportunity, knew he had to perform well, and just did just that in the game by getting that big turnover. But Lamar Jackson, I don't know if it was the Colts defense or if it was just Lamar Jackson, but he just seemed all kinds of out of sorts on many of these plays. I don't know if it's just because this is a new offense and the Colts were really covering guys well, but many times, and he ran for over 100 yards on the Colts, but he was not able to really throw the ball down the field and not able to really get many wide receivers in a lot of action in this game. They came out, got that touchdown right away, and then the Colts slowly, just methodically started to really kind of take control getting towards halftime of how the game was going. And the Colts were able to get a field goal and a touchdown. Great touchdown by Zach Moss. He's the other, besides Gay, that hit all the field goals. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Zach Moss, an unbelievable addition. I will say the Colts, what a great trade by Chris Ballard. Nyheim Hines, he sends Nyheim Hines out to Buffalo. From watching this Zach Moss, I can't believe that they got rid of this guy, because if you're playing in the snow or in sloggy weather, and I said this in my show last week, I was like, this guy, his short little choppy steps and everything, it's going to make him a really great runner in this wet weather. And Buffalo got rid of him, but I mean, just an inclement weather guy. To have him and to have Jonathan Taylor coming back in a few weeks and to have this guy as the backup, but even as a first-rate back, Zach Moss, he always gets positive yards. There was a play on the sideline in the first half where it looked like he was going to lose like 5 yards. And and it was Jadeveon Clowney came over to make the tackle on him. He just kind of balled up. Jadeveon Clowney went like right off of his back, and then he sprung forward, was able to leap forward for about 3 or 4 yards. Those are huge plays in the running game. When Jadeveon Clowney is going to get you for a 5-yard loss, and then you make it into a 5-yard gain, that is so paramount to keeping the Colts ahead of the sticks and being able to run the ball a little bit on these guys and control a little bit of the time of possession. I think the Colts did a great job in that part of the field. One downside, Braden Smith, you got to like shore up some of these penalties. He's had just a few penalties in the game. That was only one of the downsides in the game that I saw for him. But overall, our running attack and our offensive line on the running plays did a pretty great job. Gardner Minshew, he performed pretty well, about what you would expect. The thing Gardner Minshew can't do is turn the ball over and fumble and act like a fool out there. And he got absolutely tattered by Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame, coming off the edge. Didn't see it at all. I mean, that's a point where it's like when you got Manning on your team, and I know I reference Manning a lot on this channel. He's the greatest quarterback that's ever played for the Colts. But, I mean, that's where you want to just point, like, this guy is going to rush off the edge. That happened 3 times in a row. I think after it happened once or twice, you'd be like, somebody block 14, please, because he's going to come and he's going to kill me. So, Kyle Hamilton had those sacks. Those were tough third down plays for the Colts. And Minshew just dropping back, holding the ball too long, and not really recognizing the coverage. But I really want to talk about what happened in the second half of this game and how the Colts were just able to hang in there and hang tough the entire time. There was about 5 different instances where I thought the Colts had lost the game completely. When they punted the ball back to Jackson, and then they got the penalty. There was a penalty on like a third down play, or the Colts. Well, the Colts just didn't cover it up very well, and Jackson ran for a first down. I thought the game was over right there. I thought that Baltimore was going to be able to. The Colts were going to get the ball back with not a lot of time on the clock. And then mistakes. The Minshew stepping out of the back of the end zone, that was really only caused by McKenzie let that punt go and it bounced down to the 1 yard line. Gotta sure that up. I mean, that was just purely, I don't know why he just didn't catch it. He was at the 10 or the 11, and he thought that was going to bounce, 10 yards backwards, I guess, and just didn't happen. That was a little unlucky. And then Minshew, definitely was feeling the pressure. Looked like doing his best Dan Orlovsky impression, who also played for the Colts in their winless season when they sucked for luck. Dan Orlovsky came in and tried to win 2 games so we wouldn't get Andrew Luck, but thankfully he was not successful at that. But Minshew stepping out of the back of the end zone. Many mistakes and things were happening at this point in the game. But some of the biggest plays that the Colts made down the stretch was, so the series, the Colts were driving and they so the drive, I kept thinking that the drive where Pittman had the really great catch and how that was not a personal foul. The line judge is standing right there. Pittman makes the catch. This guy's hand comes right up into the face mask. That's illegal hands to the face. That's a personal foul. That's a 15-yard penalty. It didn't really matter that much. The Colts still ran the ball a couple of times for some first downs there. But then they turned it over on downs. I thought the play call on 4th down was awful. And they kind of came out in shotgun on a 4th and 1 and then just ran it. And oh my God, right there, I was just thinking, I'm like, oh my God, how can you go with that play call? It just had no chance at all. And Baltimore as a team, when they bring all their big guys up into the center, it's nearly impossible to run in the middle on them. I said this in the episodes last week, they are a team that gives up almost no rushing touchdowns at all. You can just look at their record. The way to get the ball in the end zone on them is pass it into the end zone. You're just very rarely are you going to run the ball in the end zone on them on short yardage. Same on that 4th and 1. But the Colts defense shows up. They get pressure on Jackson. They pressure him on 4th down. They go for it on 4th down. That could have maybe been a pass interference. I've heard all these people say that was such a bad pass interference call, but what I've not seen is really a close-up shot where you can see if the Colts guy actually did have him hooked around the waist or not. You didn't really see that shot. I went back and rewatched the game last night. I watched the first half and watched the rest of it this morning. They never show a close-up of whether or not that was really pass interference, so you couldn't really definitively say. I will say this about the game. The Colts were awesome in this game. The announcers were not. The announcers were god-awful in this game. I don't know about you, but I thought the announcers were, against the Colts the entire game. It was even that pass interference. Maybe it could have been pass interference. Maybe it couldn't have been. But the announcers kept saying that Justin Tucker was able to kick a 70-yard field goal. It was raining. It's on a grass field. I have very limited knowledge of kicking, but I did kick some in high school. It is way different with your plant leg mostly when you are kicking on a grass, soggy field. It's really hard to kick the ball right off the ground like NFL players do without using a tee or anything on a really wet field because you just stick that ball down on the ground. It's just really hard to get good contact with your foot when it's with your plant leg planting and then getting just the right contact because your plant leg, if you plant it too heavy in the ground, it's just going to slip a little bit. It takes a lot of yardage off the kicks. That being said, Gay had no problem whatsoever. Broke an NFL record, 4 kicks over 50 yards, and the Colts get the victory. He kicks that final kick. It just jumped off his leg and it went right down the Broadway. And also the announcers were saying that Matt Gay was going to kick a 70-yarder as well. No, I don't think so, my friend. there's a reason why nobody's kicked a 70-yard field goal in the history of the NFL. And the places where it has been done in Denver or Tucker kicked the kick in Detroit. And one thing to know about Detroit, there's a big win draft, almost like the old RCA Dome had. Like there's definitely just like some pressurized elements in there that, like, one way they say it's a lot easier to kick than the other. So I don't know why the announcers kept saying that. I just thought the announcers were just awful in this game, and they were just really shining up a lot of turds for Baltimore, making every excuse for them possible. I know Baltimore had 7 guys injured out in the game. The Colts had their starting center and their starting quarterback out in this game. So, yeah, could some of the line calls, if Anthony Richardson is in there and Ryan Kelly, maybe Ryan Kelly points out, hey, this guy's blitzing, change the line calls. So, maybe that was French's fault. Maybe Minshew should have been able to, diagnose some of those blitzes and things like that. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when you're a backup quarterback and you're a backup center. You got to go out there and play. Overall, I thought French did a really great job. Didn't fumble any of the snaps. And we saw Lamar Jackson. We saw him, with his starting center, snap the ball to him when he wasn't even watching one time. And you know what? The Ravens made some mistakes out there. This was a hard fought game by the Colts and the Ravens. Both teams were just really scrapping at each other. But you got to give it up for this Colts defense and also Matt Gay. Just an unbelievable record-breaking performance. And look, the Colts are in first place in the South. So Anthony Richardson will be coming back next week. Tomorrow on the show, we'll talk about more of the games that happened around the league, because there were some really big surprises, as well as Jacksonville losing again to the Texans, and everybody's 1-2 except for the Colts are 2-1 in the division. And if you look at the Colts schedule, they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. But just an absolutely fantastic day for the Colts to win this game, to get above 500. It has been some time since the Colts have been in first place or above 500. And I like what the coaching staff is doing. Everybody seems like they're coming together and they're playing with a lot more passion and a lot more heart out there. And that's what you got to do in the NFL to win these games. None of these games are easy week to week, even if there's a bunch of guys injured. And the Colts got the Rams coming up next week. It's going to be, we'll talk about that more on the show tomorrow. But as for now, this is just a reaction video to everything that happened in the game. Comment down below if you have things about the game that you want to talk about or that I missed in this episode, and I'll talk about it on the show tomorrow. But just an unbelievable day and an unbelievable game for the Colts. And this is a game with Frank Reich, I feel like they lose. I feel like they lost a lot of games. They just didn't have gritty toughness. And I feel like Shane Steichen, he just is a gritty, tough type of SOB that you want out there coaching your team. So I think we got that now with the Colts. Heck, I don't think we have it. We have it. We have the guy. This guy is just maybe a little bit younger, a little bit smarter, and he maybe connects with some of these young players in a way that we just weren't having in the past with the coaching staff. So go Colts. Go Colts. I'm not going to do the Harry Carey again. But unbelievable day for the Colts. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe to the video. Give it a thumbs up, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Stay classy out there, Colts fans.